Several years ago, back in 2014, there was a comic shop here that actually started in the groove called Brain Freeze Comics. And it was run by a guy named Stuart Copeland. And Stuart kind of did what I did. He was the inspiration for Wakeup Comics completely. He eventually moved over to Gift Horse a few blocks over, but he kind of used this spot as a way to sell things that don't really have a lot of monetary return on them. And so that was really inspiring to me. I love Brain Freeze, but in end of 2017, kind of early 2018, Stewart shut Brain Freeze down, and I was really disappointed in that. Totally understandable, but so I kind of was thinking about doing something similar, and at the time it wasn't possible to really do it at the old spot at Gift Horse because of kind of the abrupt end, what had happened there. So I started looking around for spots to possibly do that because what I'm selling, comics are a niche medium. What I'm selling is a niche within a niche. So it has no way of sustaining itself anyway as its own business in any sort of physical location on its own. It has to be somewhere else, which is what Stewart had done, which has been what had inspired me so much. So I started looking around, and one of the places I thought about was, well, maybe the Groove would be interested again, because they had set it up there before. We already had they'd already done something similar to this. Didn't know anything about the previous owners. Didn't know at the time that Michael and Jesse had actually become the new owners. When I talked to them, they said, I kind of did I think I was looking up stuff about the Groove later, and I saw, it looks like it's actually changed hands since Stewart was set up here with Brain Freeze. So when I talked to them, they weren't the only people I reached out to, but luckily enough, not only were they interested in allowing me to put, a comic set up here where I could sell small press and indie comics, they were the only people who replied, period. Nobody else even got back to me or would listen to me talk about it, which, it's kind of a hard sell. So I really appreciated that in itself because they were at least willing to talk to me about it. And then we kind of were able to set something up, and that was really, I really appreciated that because I really wanted to have something like what Stewart was doing with Brain Freeze, and so that let me do Wake Up here. And that's important because there's not really a place like this that I know of in the South. There's maybe a few places that have similar comics, but in terms of what I'm selling, it's just not a thing you can really find. And like I said, it's not profitable enough to stand on its own, so it kind of has to be here. But it allows an access to a type of material that people are not going to see outside of me, someone going out of their way to have it here. So that was what really, I appreciated Michael and Jesse doing that because they were willing to basically take their space, that whatever they could have in that space, it would lead to a higher monetary return than what I have in there. Undoubtedly, there's no question whatsoever. So the fact that they're willing to give up their space, allow me to sell that, kind of tells you about their own mission statement, about how they feel about what the product that they're carrying and what they want their store to be.